We are recording. All right, all right, all right. Welcome back, family. Welcome back, family. Yes, I know I missed last week. This is your man Jermaine Shoulders of Mosaic Entertainment Group presents tonight. I have for you. I like to introduce him like this, so I'll do it like this. The one and only, Mr. Alan R. Johnson. How you doing tonight? Actor,
I'm good, man.
actor extraordinaire. How you doing this evening?
I'm good, man. How about you?
I'm kicking it, man. I'm good, man. It's been a while. You know, we try to link up, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
our schedules are what they are, that means
yeah,
work
yeah.
my craft
We
and
finally got it together, though.
absolutely. So you are an actor, man. Not just an actor, but you are, you're an artist.
Yeah,
I don't think actors are really referred to as artists as they should be. So won't you
yeah. They definitely.
yourself to my audience, tell them who you are, what you do, how you got started, and this is a show that's mainly Phoenix based, I guess Arizona based, of course, but you are in Southern California right now, so hey, it stretches from Southern California
Yeah.
all the way to Louisiana, you know, Colorado, Utah,
Okay.
Nevada. So we trying to hit all the Southwest. So go ahead and introduce yourself,
Okay.
letting the people know who you are.
Yeah. I'm Alan R. Johnson. I'm originally from Chicago, Illinois. Been in the film business for about, honestly, like 12, 13 years. I started out around 2006. Actually, I started before, but I finally, kind of dived into it in 2006, a little after I graduated. Um, did a lot of background work when I started out, and I finally got like my first speaking role in 2010 for a short film that I did, and that I actually won an award for for best supporting actor. I think it was either, yeah, best supporting actor in a horror film. So that was just my start out, and then from there just kind of opened up other doors and other speaking roles, and then just kept going. And before that, honestly, I started modeling because of course, I was a lot smaller around that time. I was like 19. Now I'm like 33. So, things change when you get older. So you
Yeah,
don't have the
yeah,
same body that started out. So,
it
but
happens.
yeah, acting is definitely uh, is what act and produce. I produce a couple projects already. I directed an episode in a web series that I did in Deadbeats. Season 1 is on YouTube, so you can check out. If you want to check out Deadbeats, it's
Okay.
on YouTube. Season 2 should be coming out in August this year, 2020.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, that's pretty much what I do. Act, produce. I might get into directing, but not anytime soon. Just mostly just acting, trying to perfect that, and then once I get a little bit of a buzz and name for myself, then I'll kind of just dive into other things and try to direct. But producing and acting is what I do right now.
Okay, that's what's up, man. Well, there's plenty opportunity, out there for, directing, you know. I have the subsequent episodes, that we'll talk about a little later. But I also have the original pilot,
Mhm.
and I'm such in a creative mode right now, man, that I'm going to need to reach out, what I'm saying, and say, hey, I need another creative to kind of take this idea, man. Hey, won't you take this episode of such and such and direct it for me? You know what I'm saying? So, and just take a look at it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That time will come. That time will definitely come. That time will definitely come. So got to
Oh
start
yeah.
got to start in the '06. Um 1 year award for you said the horror, yeah, as best supporting actor in like a horror film or horror short.
Yeah, best supporting actor. Yeah.
And this was in Chicago.
No, this was in Phoenix when I
Oh, this is
started
in
out.
Phoenix. Oh, okay. So how long have you been in Phoenix? How long have you lived in Phoenix?
I've been in Phoenix about I've phew, 16, 17 years. My mom drugged me out here when I was like, drugged me out there when I was in Phoenix about like 13, 14 years old
Okay.
from Chicago. And then from there, I've been out there for so long. Then, of course, I just moved out to California around in October 2019 to further my career in acting.
Okay. That's what's up, man. So during your
Yeah.
time here in Phoenix, I like to ask a lot of the artists. And so far, I've spoken to um, a cinematographer, excuse me, videographer, kind of a guy who's involved in the filmmaking scene. So he hosts a lot of events. BK Black, I'm sure you've heard of him, BK, brother out of Brooklyn.
Yeah,
So I interviewed him as
yeah.
and a couple other people. So this is the first you're the first actor that I'm actually interviewing. So what
Okay.
and I kind of ask this particular question often. So I usually ask, what do you guys think, especially being a transplant? But you've had a little time to kind of grow and mature out here into a young man. Um, what was your impression of the scene, out here, for acting and filmmaking, once you really started getting involved and really seeing the lay of the land? What was your impression? Because you hear the thing
Hmm.
about, no culture, Phoenix has no culture, blah blah blah,
Right.
stuff like that. Of course, being artists and willing to take those risks, we bust that myth. You know what I'm saying? And I had to, I'm guilty of that myself. So, but we
Right.
overcome that. But what was your impression, when you first moved out there, and when we first really got involved in, in
So
acting?
when I first,
Yeah.
yeah, when I first started, it was a lot slower, a lot faster moving right now, especially because social media is so big right now. But when I first started out, it was mostly just Facebook, and the community was a lot smaller.
Mhm.
Um, but a lot of people that I know, they had their groups of people that they work with, that they consistently worked with. So it was a small community, but you had the same people, same directors who worked with the same actors.
Mhm.
I wasn't well known around that time. I'm not really that known right now, but uh, people do know me in the Phoenix area for acting and film. So, but it was a much smaller community compared to right now. So I definitely had to dig and work my way to where I am now to be able to for people to just call me and say, "Hey, I have a role for you," or could you act in my project? Could you produce my project or anything like that? But compared to back in 2010, it was a lot small community. Um, a lot of people dealt with the same actors, same producers, same everything, and you literally have to either know somebody or be friends with somebody or worked on a project in order to even get a start off. Luckily, I was able to have a friend named Brigham. Yeah, Juwan Brigham, who I went to high school with in Mesa, Arizona, who actually helped me out to get started. Gave me a couple plugs, and then I started. I got involved with this email group who it was like a writing or a meetup group. It was a meetup group who I got started with, and that's how I. And they always sent out emails for casting notice, and that's pretty much how I got started. Is just looking for those emails and responding to them to get a casting notice, and that's how I got my first speaking role. And then now, so it's much different now. All of it, 90% of it is on Facebook or Instagram or social media is much bigger now. But a lot of the casting notices are on those avenues now instead of in a meetup group. So you don't really see that anymore. But it's definitely changed since then.
That's an understatement, especially from my day when I was out there
Right. Yeah.
hustling and running the auditions. It's vastly different.
Yeah.
Just the mode of communication, in itself. The ability to, reach your agent at the drop of a hat. You know what I mean? As opposed to having to
Absolutely.
drop some coins in a payphone and
Yeah.
find a pay. First of all, you had to find a booth. You know what I'm saying? But in New York, in those days, they were plentiful. They were on every corner, and then find one that worked. That wasn't busted up or had spit or something all over it. And then find your agent. But it was much more of a grind. Well, I'll put it this way: if I'm sure it's still a grind, but over the years, it's been made easier, to get yourself, out there. You know, you really had to hustle to get yourself, even an agent, you know,
Yeah.
just to let alone getting to an audition. But a town like New York
Absolutely.
pretty much accommodated that. New York was very accommodating to that. LA is too, to a degree, but you have to drive, you have to fight traffic. It's a little different. New York,
Yeah. It's different in New York.
you underground, so you get
Yeah.
down, you
I
know.
agree.
So, but so all right, so you noticed that it was a kind of a small community. People work together, and they so you had to kind of elbow your way in there and kind of know somebody.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
do you have a particular genre that you really prefer, as an actor, to do? You do like
Mhm.
comedy, you like drama? Do you like And then with that, I have a twofold question. So with that, do you have a
Okay.
particular genre that you prefer? And also in that genre, which type of characters do you like to play? Do you like to play the protagonist or the antagonist character?
Gotcha. Um, to answer your first question, I'm very open minded to any genre.
Mm,
It's funny because I used to think that I would try to avoid comedy. I didn't think it's funny, but everybody all of a sudden they just thought I was funny. I don't know what the hell they were watching,
mhm,
but everybody thought I was funny, so they would say, yeah, you should dive into comedy.
mhm.
I love drama. I think drama is where it is. Drama is what gets you the awards. I can do some. I like action. I've done a couple action projects. I've done a lot of comedies. Again, people feel like I'm funny. I'm trying to figure out what and how I'm
Mm.
funny. I haven't figured out what is my comedy niche yet.
I need to
Still
figure.
working on that. Yeah. I think got it figured out, but I'm still working on that to try to figure out what it is that makes me funny. But I definitely like drama, and I like to. I'm open minded to anything: drama, action, comedy, dramedy. I'm open for anything. I don't think there's anything that I'm not willing to do. I'm open minded. I'm not afraid to do anything. Also, to answer your second question, what's your second question? Just to make sure.
What type of character would you like? Do you like to play, or do you like to play the protagonist, antagonist, the good guy, bad guy? Which one do you like?
Gotcha.
There,
I I find it I find it more satisfying to play more of a antagonist or the bad guy. Is I get more range. I get more to play with as far as the good guy. That there's that with good guys they have that moral compass.
right.
You know what I mean? And then bad guys, they ain't no damn moral compass. We can do whatever we want. So I like to play the bad guy that's charismatic, or for example, Red Reddington on the Blacklist on Netflix. I don't know if you watched that, but
I,
those are the guys I kind of try to play those guys, and
right.
I mirror a lot of my performances out of a lot of other actors, big name actors. I take a piece of everybody's work,
Mhm.
whether it's Denzel, whether it's Samuel L. Jackson, Jamie Foxx, uh, um, Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Hardy. I take a piece of what everybody do and what has made them successful, and I kind of incorporate it to a lot of my performances to help me perform better. And that's how I do a lot of my studying. Also,
Okay.
is watching a lot of film. A, because I can't pay for classes; it's expensive as hell, and B, because I learn more. I'm more of a hands-on learner.
Right.
So I can sit in front of a class as much as I want, but I probably won't grasp it as much as I would unless I was watching like a video or something. So,
Mm,
but I definitely love to play charismatic antagonists. But you know, I've been blessed to be able to play both a protagonist and a good guy and a bad guy. So
mm,
it's worked out in my favor to be able to portray a good guy and a bad guy, or some it's okay to play the not the leading role, the supporting role also.
right.
Those are more important roles also. You can win those also,
Sometimes,
or a day player.
right. Sometimes they're actually more impactful. Because of the
Exactly.
pretending a particular, depending on what particular role they play, in the lives of
Yeah.
the leads. But yeah, they could be
Hmm.
very, very impactful. And some people make
I
careers
agree.
out of just being supporting actors. Some people may not want,
Exactly.
to be responsible for leading a show. You know what I mean? So, do you
Yeah.
have a preference as far as film or television? Do you have a preference? Would you do either one? Do you have a preference? Do you prefer feature length? Do you prefer shorts? Do you have that kind of preference, or are you just open to everything that comes your way?
I'm open to everything. At this moment, I don't think I can be really choosy. You know what I mean? So
Well,
I'm
people
open.
are, man. So I
Yeah.
like to find
Yeah.
that out.
I'm open to a short feature length television show, plays. I do plays also. I did a play a couple years ago called Native Son, the Richard Wright
Oh yes, yes,
from the Richard Wright book.
yes. I have it.
It was Namdi E. Kelly's rewrite of the play. She did her own rewrite, and
Mm.
I played the Black Rat in the play alongside uh, the main actor who played Bigger, who's in the book.
Right.
So yeah, that plays are another thing I do. Also love plays, and I won an award for that. That was my first play, and I won it. No, I'm sorry, I was nominated for another award for that
That's
one
what's up,
for
man.
best supporting actor in a play. Yeah,
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. That's how I got my start on the stage.
yeah,
On the stage,
on
man.
stage.
And I prefer, I actually prefer the stage, as opposed to the set because
It's a challenge.
it's a challenge. You have to know your lines and
Mm,
the other
mm,
lines. You know what I mean? You have to know everybody's lines. You have to know the show from beginning to end.
yeah,
Everything about the show completely. With film, you just have your part, your role. You just do what you
yeah.
do, and you're done. And then
And you
everything
can say,
else.
and you can wait on them. Yeah, you can wait on them to call cut on
Exactly.
stage. No, you got to stay in tune. That was one of the things I learned by doing a play is you have to stay available and listen.
Absolutely.
On film, not so much. You have to stay available and listen.
Mhm,
But you know how it is on film. You can cut and you can say do certain angles. I'm not, and sometimes I'm not even in the shot. I
mhm,
just have to shoot my lines to my the person I'm working with,
mhm.
and I don't have to be available as much as on a play. You have to 199% be available and listen
Oh,
because if you're off,
mhm.
you can screw up the whole play and it'd be a wrap. So you
Man,
have to stay and listen. It's plays are a challenge,
plays
but it
off,
was
man.
probably the most satisfying experience that and the best learning experience for an actor. And I recommend all actors, inspiring actors, actresses to do a play, at least one play.
Right. I
And
think,
don't be.
and I hear, and some people might get mad if I say this, but I don't think you're really an actor if you don't.
I can, yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
Because how do you know? You know what I mean? If you flub a line, you're like, oh, I can start over again. Are you really performing? You know what I mean? Like, or are you just kind of going through the motions for the camera? So on
Hmm.
stage, you're exposed. You know what I mean? And things happen. When I was a kid, and this is when I was a kid. And I was
Hmm.
always the lead in every play I ever did, except for one. And so I always was responsible for bringing that spirit, that vibe to the play. Um, and I remember one of the characters I was doing it was a musical, and it was called My Fair Lady, and I was singing a song called a soliloquy, which is an extended song. So that's what soliloquy means. It's like an extended song. So on paper it was like 3 pages long. So I had direction, I had choreography, and I'm on the stage by myself, man. And there was a scene during the song where I was to jump off of the set was you remember back in the day on the Mississippi how they used to have those boats with the big wheels on the back?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the set. You know what I mean? They had
Okay.
actually a wheel like that on the back. So it was on stage.
Okay.
So I'm talking real stuff, lights, camera, all that good stuff. So I'm singing the song and then I jump off of that as I'm supposed to, and I land as I'm supposed to. But the pants I had on, somebody switched them before I went on, and I had no choice
Oh.
to wear them before I went on, and they were too big in the waist. Granted, I'm 13 at the time and maybe 4'10". I wasn't always tall. I was a shorty.
Okay.
And man, while I'm singing, the pants fell down. And
Oh man.
man, thanks to some quick response, I quickly grabbed my pants and I kept singing. So, the audience probably thought I was maybe slapping because the character was very animated. So I made it look like I was slapping my waist and, gesturing in a certain way while I was singing.
No, that was a straight mess up, and you covered
Man,
it up very well.
covered it up, man. We were taught and trained to, hey, you don't let the audience know nothing.
Exactly. The show must keep going.
Absolutely. And
Yep.
you have to be so in tune that your fellow actor has to know if you flub a line. You know what I mean? And
Right.
they fill that line in for you. We were taught how to do that, to bring you back to, your line. So those are
Yes.
a lot of techniques, very classical. So you kind of answered my next question because it was going to be, how did you get your training? Did you do any formal training?
Hmm.
That type of thing.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was definitely a lot of watching a lot of films, and then I feel like there's no point in taking some kind of, you don't have to always take class if you can't afford it. There's avenues where people can take now, like YouTube. You can watch a lot. Everything's on YouTube. If you want to learn some
Yeah.
things, watch a video on YouTube and it'll teach you some basics, and then watch a lot of film. That you can't learn. You learn the best from the best by watching film, and it's the best study. It's the best study habits right there. Just
Absolutely.
watching film.
And then you find who your favorite, you will come to find who your favorite actors are, and then you just follow their work. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Kind of that's how you
exactly.
study. Once again, back in my day, it wasn't. You had to take a class. They had to know that you had some kind of formal training. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep.
It made it difficult to even get an agent, you know what I'm saying, if they didn't know that you went to such and such school, or you had some kind of formal training from, and it was New York, so it had, there was no school that was bad or unheard of, unless it was just way out there, you know what I mean? So it was just such a community. So, and that's what we're trying to do here. You know what I mean? We're trying
Right.
to build that same thing
Built
here.
the community. Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's building kind of in LA. You got the NoHo area now, which is kind of new. And then you got you still have what's going on in Leimert Park. They really blowing that up down there. So it's like you kind of have that culture, there, and we're trying to do the same thing here. So I know you got a lot of your work done here. Um,
Yeah.
so first of all, let me let the audience know once again. Jermaine Shoulders in the house. Mosaic Entertainment Group presents Mr. Alan R. Johnson, actor extraordinaire. I wanted to also let the audience know that Alan is also in one of my original productions called Learning the Ron. He is the leading actor in Learning the Ron. He is LaRon Taylor
Yes,
in
indeed.
my show. I'm very, very happy with the footage that we have. Ready to get
Mhm.
back to work to conclude the pilot. So we have a couple more scenes to go. But yeah, I wanted to let the audience know, not only am I interviewing the brother, but I'm also working with the brother. Yes, we know
Absolutely.
I'm gonna put some things out, and hopefully I can woo the man back from LA. You know what I'm saying, and
Right. Yeah.
be able to put some ducats in his pocket. And once this show blows up, and once the other things that we have going on blow up. So that's the goal. That's the goal, brother.
Absolutely.
That's the goal.
Absolutely. And it's going to be really good. I'm excited for learning, Lauren. I think the writing it's important that we put this message out there.
Absolutely.
I think the writing is incredible, and I think you did a fantastic job on writing this. I don't run into a lot of great writing.
Mhm.
I've worked with so many people, and I've worked with some people who had the great talent to be a director, but they didn't have the right writing, and you have it. You have the writing is incredible. So I
Appreciate
think
that.
everybody's in for a treat, and
Appreciate that.
it's an incredible story.
Oh, absolutely, man. Wait till you see episode 2. Uh,
Oh yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. I'm excited to read it.
The first episode, actually be episode 1 because this is the pilot we're doing. So yeah, wait till you see that. It's
Yeah,
and episode 2, so 1 and 2. So it can't give too much away, but yeah, it's there's something else. So, and
I'm
I
excited.
appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. So what's up new, man? What you got coming up the horizon? Are you working on anything now? Let the audience
Yeah,
know
yeah,
what you got coming up, what's going
yeah. I got Murder Muse, the Murder Muse that's coming out probably in about a year. I wrapped that one up. Nocturnal Activities, that one is coming out. That one is in festival. It's in the festival stage right now, so it's getting pushed out to festivals. We should have a premiere for that one in Phoenix, hopefully by May.
on.
So I'm gonna come back out there for the premiere for that.
Who's
And
that?
then
Who was that one? Who wrote and direct that one? Who wrote the
Douglas Muncie, he's a director I worked with, a great director. He's an ex-LA director. He used to live out here in LA, and now he's located in Phoenix. And very, 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 he knows his work. He
oh,
knows lighting. He knows sound. He knows all that stuff. So it's going to be a really good one. I almost gave it up, but
oh yeah.
it's a good one. Nocturnal Activities is really good. Once I get the date, I'll make sure I let
I saw
everyone
that
know. And
trailer. I think I saw the trailer.
yes, it was. I know you did. It's on YouTube. It's on Face.
Yeah.
It's the one of them.
So you said
It's
that.
on there.
Yeah, it's on there. It's on Instagram.
Yeah,
It's on Instagram too. Yeah, I saw the trailer.
yeah, and
Really,
it looks good. It's
really good.
beautifully.
Oh man, it looks really good. It is.
Yeah, so that one's gonna be good. And then I have Deadbeat season 2. We're in the middle of shooting that. We're
Okay.
on a break right now, so we're waiting on everybody to get back in order so we can try to start shooting that back up in May. That one's gonna be ready to go, and the episodes are gonna be showing on YouTube in August or whatnot. And then, like I said, Deadbeat season 1 is on YouTube right now, so you can check that out.
Red beats. All
Then
right.
I got a couple LA projects I'm working on right now. So hopefully I can get some okays that I can let everybody know about those when those come about. But I'm wrapping one up right now, and then I have another one to start up in July.
Okay. That's what's up,
So
man.
yeah, it's rolling, man.
Hey,
It's
that's what
definitely
it's about.
it's a grind. It's a grind.
Hey, that's what it is. Hey, but it's a love though. You know what I mean? It's
Oh, I love it. Yeah,
you know what I mean, it's who you are. You can't help but
absolutely,
man. If you're an artist and that's what does it for you, that's what it is. So and you get
absolutely.
better, man, every day. Every day.
Yeah, it's what wakes us up, man.
Absolutely.
Literally.
I don't know what I would do if I couldn't express myself, you know what I'm saying? You know, in literature. I don't know what I could do. I don't know what I would do, man. You know what I mean? You feel that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a lot. I do. I do. I feel like that a lot. Um, it's hard to not. It's hard to not think about it and live without it, and I wouldn't be able to. Like,
Right.
and that's kind of why I drive. I don't know if anybody know I drive Lyft full time, so I can have the flexibility. A, because I gotta live,
Hmm.
you know that, and
So
then B, I need the flexibility so I wouldn't have to work for anybody. And it's, that's the main reason why. Is because I don't want to work for anybody, and then um, it helps me pursue my dream. And not a lot of people have that luxury to be able to pursue their dream and have their own schedule. You know what I mean? We both worked at Santander, so you know what I mean.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. We know,
yeah.
we
So
know, we know.
yeah,
Absolutely.
so it just feels so good to be able to do what I love to do and have the ability to do what I love to do. Because
Absolutely.
not everybody has that luxury. So we all are blessed. I'm
We
blessed to
are,
work with
man.
you. I'm blessed to work with a lot of people I work with.
Man, and some of your co-stars, man, you know, Nadine is doing well. You know, she's been
Yeah, she is.
doing a lot of work out in LA too. I think her husband, who I actually cast a role briefly in there, and learning to run as well. He's I think landed a big role in a film as well. So they're a couple. They've been married for many years that are both performing, and they're
Yeah,
both.
that's my guy. I know you're talking about.
I can't remember. I'm terrible with names, but yeah, you know, he's really good, man. He came in and just did some work for me real quick, and he was great. You know, he was great. So I think he played a cop in the episode. So he did a great job. He did a great job. So
Oh,
no,
good. Okay.
I'm blessed.
Yeah, he's intense.
He's very intense. That's a very
Yeah,
intense time, man. He's another East Coaster. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
we out here. You know,
yeah. We are.
we out here. We out here, and we're gonna transform this landscape, man. We definitely are.
Absolutely.
We
I'm
definitely.
here for it.
Great, man. I'm glad to hear that. So, um, in keeping with that spirit, man, of letting everybody know, you know, what you're doing, what you got coming up next. How can people find you, my brother? How can people follow you, your social media handles and addresses and all that good stuff?
Everything now I switched over my name. My name originally was Alan Johnson, but I switched everything over to Alan R. Johnson. That's on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You can search me by Alan R. Johnson. Again, I made it that way because it's easier for people to search me. Because when you search Alan Johnson, some white dude come up. So I was like, nah,
Oh,
that ain't gonna
okay.
work for
Yeah, it's
me.
kind of a common name, brother. Kind of a common name.
Right, exactly. So I said, let me add the R. I got the R idea from Michael B. Jordan. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So I was like, let me just add the R,
All right.
and then it's much easier to search me now. Even
It's,
though IMDb,
mm,
Internet Movie Database, you can search me on there. Also, you can find all of my projects and my films and my upcoming projects. Also,
all right. Do you have an agent? Are you represented by someone?
yeah, I'm with Dangerfield Talent in California, and that's for commercials. We're probably gonna switch it over to film, and I'm with Danny's agency. That's based out of Phoenix, and they're the SAG affiliated agency also.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, Danny's pretty popular out here. I think
Yeah, they are.
I
Yeah.
think Nadine and her husband with Danny as well.
Yeah, they're with Danny's also. Yeah, I'm in
Okay.
the middle right now looking for a manager. So hopefully I can have someone sign on with the new manager within the next few weeks. I got a couple meetings with that coming up also. So it's grinding out here, man. It's
Man,
just a lot of work.
that's what's up, man. So before we wrap this up, let me how do you did you have you I did want to ask this though. Since you've been really got your start out here and you've been in LA now for about 4 or 5 months. So
4 months.
4 months now. So have you
Yeah.
noticed, going out on auditions and things like that, have you noticed any difference? Have you noticed any difference in the quality of the acting, of the people you may have seen or worked with? Or were you able to have you noticed anything so far
No,
in that short time?
honestly, there. It, no, I've fortunately done this for so long.
Mhm.
It's second nature. So nothing looks new to me. Nothing looks different. It's the same competition as if it was in Phoenix. It's more competition, of course, because it's Los Angeles, but everything looks the same. I don't think anything's changed. I haven't changed anything within myself. I take and I do everything the same. Only thing I do try to do is, of course, be better as an actor and learn different things. But I don't change. I study the same. The actors are the same. Run into the same people.
Okay.
Honestly, people are a little more of an asshole out here, and people are more to themselves, which makes sense because this is a competition business.
Absolutely.
So I get it, but yeah, nothing's really different. Nothing's different at all. Everybody's just out for themselves, and when you come out here, if any actor does come out here, my advice to you is just dive in there and go for it, and make sure you have all your stuff together, whether it's a demo reel, resume, headshot, have all that prepped, and if you can, get somebody to make you a website so that way you're marketable.
Mhm.
Because a lot of these agents out here, they want to see what you've done and have a quick access to it. So that's the one of the things I've been fortunate to have is a majority of that, and my website's getting built right now.
Awesome.
So I'm just yeah. So once all that is in order, I think things will move a lot more smoother from there,
All right.
and maybe I don't have to try to search and try to look for an agent. I can just send them that and then
See,
move forward from there.
see this technology, man. That's what makes it so um I don't want to say infuriating, but I feel like, man, that's not fair because in my day, what I mean, you had to literally go to the
You
Samuel
have to work.
bookstore. Yeah, you had to go to the bookstore. You had to find the
Yep.
list of agents, and then you had to find someone to do your headshots. And
Yep.
hopefully you could find a reputable photographer, to do it.
Yep.
And then you had to have
Because
such
now you can just grab anybody to do a headshot.
do your headshot yourself. You can just do it, on your phone
Yeah.
and just do the setting and send it. It's amazing. And you can do a blast email and all this stuff. Wasn't that in the 80s, man? You really had to pound the pavement. So,
You had to grind.
man, you had to get out there. So
I wasn't working in the 80s, but I have an idea of what it was like because again, when I started out in 2006, it was kind of the same. You didn't have all the social media outlets. The phones were not as advanced as they are now.
true.
So I had to search and get my headshots done. I had to search to get work done. I had to do a lot in order to even get started because if you ain't got no headshots, how they supposed to know what you look like? So I had to grind to get that done, and I had to grind to get my first speaking role. I had to grind to get enough footage to make a demo reel. So yeah, it's now it's a little easier because you even have apps you can get your demo reel done. So
That's
I
correct.
haven't usually utilized it because I'm not really into it. I'd rather go the old school route. But yeah, it's so much easier, and it's going to get easier for the people that are coming up now.
It really is, man. And that's a blessing. In a way, it's kind of I think it's kind of affecting Hollywood in a way. You know what I mean? I don't think
Yeah.
that, now anybody can pretty much pick up a phone and do their own films, and these films are gaining traction. They're winning awards. They're winning film festivals, and stars are being born and created out of films made on phones. You know what I mean? And I've seen at least two really good pieces on that were shot on iPhones. One was by a brother named Matthew Cherry, who's also in Los Angeles. You might want to look him up too. But
Okay.
he just won an Oscar for the hair, the black hair. I think that's what it's called.
Ah, okay. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Really good, really really good. Check it out. He did one called I think Nine Rides, and it was done on two iPhone sixes. And then there was another one called High Flying Birds that was on Netflix for a while. Um, by Steven Soderbergh. He was the, I guess, the director. He shot that on an iPhone 8, on an iPhone 8s. So it's the same phone my wife has, and he shot it on that. And I don't know if it won any awards, but it ran on Netflix, and you couldn't even tell. Like, it was just great. You know what I mean? It was very
Right.
cinema quality stuff. So I mean, this stuff now, man, there you couldn't even imagine that. I'm running around. My time was between 1983 and like 94. Really
Right.
from 81 to 94. So about a good 12. And that was from LA, New York to LA. Um, and so and it wasn't much difference between New York and LA as far as so I feel what you're saying as far as the rat race and getting around. The only difference was just
Yeah.
got around. You had to drive in LA, and then New York, you had the subway. But the hustle and the grind was the same. And how we did
Right.
stuff was the same. But back then it was even more of a crabs in a barrel type of thing, with us as black actors, because at that time you had a big thing with NAACP and Hollywood going back and forth about not enough black actors being cast and things like that. So you had that kind of thing going on. So they came to an agreement that they at least had to audition, black actors as well. You know what I'm saying? So, and it got to
Right.
the point
Yeah.
where the roles were already cast already. They knew who they were going to use, but they had to go through the motions with us, man. So I don't know if that's
Yeah.
the
I
same.
remember that.
Okay, okay. So you remember that, and I don't know if it's
Yeah.
the same. Is that still kind of going on? Is that still the?
Oh, it's still. I believe it. I believe it is. I haven't experienced it as much, but it's definitely still like that. I automatically believe a lot of the casting goes on that they have an idea who they're going to cast who they're going to cast when they're going to cast them. But again, they have to, just to appease everybody's
But
needs and
it became a
to show
side
the
rule.
diversity.
Yeah, it became a side.
Right.
It became a rule. Like you had
Yep.
to do it, like because they were getting sued.
Had to have. Exactly.
You had to
You're
get
right. So I
everybody.
think they still do it that way,
Mhm.
but they still cast who they want, of course. But they just they sprinkle that full of black people in there, or a couple of Hispanics in there, just to give that, show. Oh, we're even considering a diverse a character or a person for that role. So yeah, I think they still do it, but it's
Either
still the same in one way or another.
Yeah, the issue for us, it was twofold, because it was that, and it was they kept using the same people. So that's why you saw at the
Yeah.
time, I was on the casting couch with like Lorenz Tate. I would see him. I would see Morris Chestnut. I would see, all of these guys out, that are now been in the game for 20 years and they're famous. I was with them, on the casting couch.
Right.
These guys would get the same roles, and you would see them in the same movies over and over and over again. But they was auditioning everybody. So some of the biggest black casting directors, and I've read for all cast directors, but some of the biggest ones, the black ones, we developed relationships. I would see them so often, you know what I mean? So
Right.
they would never really cast me in the big stuff. I got the commercials, stuff like that, but it wasn't like the films and the extended TV roles or the leads in the TV shows. I was supporting, or the friend, something like that. So, and it felt like a bias, and so I was wondering if that environment's still the same, because it's been 20 plus years since I dipped my toe in that, man. And I think you can find me on
Yeah.
YouTube in a couple things, but you talking early 90s, so
Right.
you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
how do you see the
I
future?
definitely still think it's the same way.
Okay, so how do you see the future going, man? How do you see as far as cinema? What's your view? And how do you see Phoenix looking? You know, as you go back and forth, but spend a majority of time in LA. How do you see Phoenix looking as far as the acting scene? Do you see things getting better? Do you see the quality getting better? Because that was always a kind of a thing. The quality.
Yeah, yeah, that was the quality was definitely an issue. I think things will get better if and when. I think I know a couple of people who said they had a meeting for to give Phoenix tax incentives for people to film
Right, that was a couple weeks.
their projects in Phoenix. Yeah, I think it was like last week or two, a couple weeks ago. So I'm hoping that if that falls through, I think things would change drastically for Phoenix, and then to give other actors, including myself, because I'm only 6 hours away,
Right.
better opportunities um, to get their face out there. And that's pretty much what everyone wants. If we can get more directors or production companies or studios to shoot their movies in Phoenix gives us more of an opportunity. Another point I forgot to mention is I did a movie in Phoenix with James Fox. It was The Kingdom. I was an extra on that one when they filmed that one in Phoenix
Oh,
back
yeah.
in 2006.
Okay.
Yeah, when they filmed that one, I was on set for that one, and and I got to meet Jamie and Jennifer Gardner and a couple other people. But so that was around that time, and I think they had the tax incentives and they took it away, and then they're trying
Yeah.
to get it back. So
Yeah.
again, we have more movies that are filmed in Phoenix, and that's what we need to put Phoenix on the map because everybody wants to film in Phoenix because we have that good weather, and at the same time, and it looks deserty or depending on what you want to shoot your film for, but it gives everybody that convenience of natural. You don't have to worry about natural disasters. So
Right. You have the lighting, especially in the summertime.
right,
It's like 12 hours of straight light, you know what I mean? And the scenic, the scenery out here is great. You have awesome sunsets, you know what I'm saying, and beautiful sunrises, you know what I mean, especially where I
right,
live outside of the city. I don't want to say, outside of the city, when we're coming in, on the freeway early in the morning, man, it's the summers have some of the most beautiful sunrises out here. So this is kind of a paradise. And then you go down to certain areas in the city, some blocks are indistinguishable, between blocks I've driven in South Central Los Angeles. So it's like some blocks are just
right,
indistinguishable, and I'm sure it's the same on other blocks for other cities. You know what I mean? Where it may be just one street that you could use, to shoot, and so I like it. I think it's very and you can shoot a film out here, pretty cheaply. You know what I mean? And it still look pretty good. You know what I mean? So just depends on who you work with. It just depends on who you work with.
right.
All
I
right,
agree.
all right, brother. So I'm gonna wrap this up, man. I really appreciate your time. Once again, please tell the audience who you are and where they can find you. No, this is MEG Presents. I'm your man, Jermaine Shoulders. Speaking to Mr. Alan R. Johnson, actor extraordinaire. Please let the audience know how they can find you. Once again, appreciate your time, my brother. I really do.
No problem at all. You all can find me on Facebook, Instagram. Insta Google Tweet Snap is what I call it on all of those avenues at Alan
It's
R. Johnson. Uh,
like that's cool. That's
Alan R.
cool.
Johnson. Yeah, you can search me that way. On IMDb, you can search and look at all my projects. On YouTube, you can search Alan R. Johnson, and every project I've done will pop up also. Deadbeat Season 2 is on YouTube, and Deadbeat Season 1 is on YouTube, and Deadbeat Season 2 will be on there in August, I believe. So keep an eye out for that and Nocturnal Activities. So yeah, man, just keep working, everybody. If you looking to get into the arts, go after it. Don't just dive into it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you heard the brother. You know where to find him. He told you where it is. Get on YouTube, check him out, check out his work. If you like all your casting directors out there, if you like what you see, all your directors out there in Phoenix, Los Angeles, if you like what you see, and you will, hit the brother up and he will come to work. I can vouch for him. He will come to work. He'll come prepared. He knows his lines. He knows his spacing. He understands pace. He understands character depth. So yeah, you have a
Absolutely.
good one right here. You have a good one right here. I will vouch for this, brother. So
Yes. And keep an
appreciate
eye for Learning Laron. Keep
absolutely,
an eye out for Learning Laron.
absolutely, absolutely.
Please keep an eye out for that. That's gonna be a powerful one. I
Yes,
guarantee you.
absolutely. Yes, appreciate it. All right, man. So appreciate your time. This is
No problem.
Shoulders once again. Mosaic Entertainment Group presents Mr. Alan R. Johnson, um, former Phoenix resident, now living in Los Angeles, but an action extraordinaire. Man. Really appreciate your time. You have a great night, my brother. Peace, everybody.
You as well.
Tell me, tune in for the next episode of Mosaic Entertainment Group presents. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody. We're gonna do this again soon.
Absolutely. Peace out.
All right. Good night.